Hi, and welcome along to a brand new episode of the Arsenal Away. I'm Ashwin, and he's Samridh. Just before I get into it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a small bell icon at the bottom. Please hit it so every time we come out with a new episode, you can get notified that we come out with a new episode. Our socials are we're present on Twitter. It's the Arsenal Away, and we have a Facebook channel called the Arsenal Away there. Um, we're back after a week of being. I was actually traveling, and poor Samridh, I had to cancel every time that he wanted to do an episode. But the big news is that because we haven't covered it, is that Emery's gone, and we have a new manager. We did a little better last week. I mean, on the weekend, considering that he just had one training session with the boys. But there were signs of improvement. First half, we looked better. We transitioned better. The ball moved faster, and I think the players played with a little more freedom. But same old problem defensively.
You can barely contain your joy and glee at him leaving, Ashwin. I think, yeah, I mean, it was due. We talked about it. I think a couple of games too late. Leicester, Liège, and finally Southampton. Um, and I mean, it sucks to have become another one of those clubs that let people go mid-season. But I guess that's just where we are at the moment. We're now just a club that we never ever have a legacy manager like Arsene. To the game, I think if that lineup was released by Emery, people would have been on him. But no, you're right. There were definite signs of improvement. I think we had three or four shots on target in the first half of the game. 70% possession away, which was I think a first for the season. Um, and yeah, I think while it was definitely an improvement. I don't think there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to the defensive side of the game. The transitional play from attack to defense, it's just not. I mean, there are a couple of balls that were just played through by Norwich, and we just were just left stranded, bypassing midfield really easily. And it's something that Freddie spoke about in his in his pre-match conference today as well, where he spoken about stopping that transition from uh, the defending team into attack, and he's talked about being quicker and faster there. Hopefully, we should see something better come off it in the game tomorrow night. But no, at least encouraging signs of improvement with barely having 48 hours with the team.
Yeah, I mean, in that same press conference, Freddie spoke about how preseason you have about 6 to 8 weeks to set your team out, to set out a plan, to work on a few things, and he's barely had like one training session with them before they played at Norwich. So I'm not trying to be critical. Uh, Let me clear this before it gets worse. That I didn't hate Emery. I just didn't like the way our club was being treated and where we were heading under Emery. So I had to be vocal and voice Emery out because I could clearly see it from last season. It's taken a lot of people 15 games, 14 games to see that Emery wasn't the right man. While you and me had spotted it from probably last season when we started declining in the last 8 games in that Europa League final. But change was very much needed. Ljungberg will take time. He might not get it right, and he he might not get it right immediately. It might take him some time, but I don't know if the board are willing to give him till the end of the season or whether they want to find a manager right now. There are a lot of conflicting rumors coming out saying that maybe they don't have the sort of money to lure a big manager. Like I think it was David Ornstein who spoke in his podcast talking about Arsenal not wanting to invest in a big manager. So that probably rules out the likes of say like an Allegri, because Allegri or even maybe someone like a Pochettino, because um, they're both, I think, managers who will command a little higher fee, right? But yeah, ominous signs because the first half, you're right, we looked good. I just feel that maybe had we taken our chances in the first half, we could have probably won that game. And Norwich, that first goal that they scored was completely against the run of play. We were dominating possession. We would keep putting them under pressure, like we should against a team fighting for relegation. But our main problem, our main Achilles heel was our defense, and has always been our defense. And you're right. You spoke about if Emery picked that team, he would have been crucified. He's right because he picked Mustafi, who is is I mean he's so prone to calamity and things like that, and you're playing him with David Luiz, who hasn't had the best starts for us, right? I felt he missed a trick by dropping Rob Holding, or missed a trick by not moving Callum Chambers to centre half, where I think he's been decently solid. I don't know. I believed in Socrates a lot last year. Last season he was really good. This season again his form has been very whatever, right? So it's going to take him some time to set up that midfield, protecting that backline and set up the defense. But the positive sign is that we are looking better going forward. So as long as we can outscore the opponents for the near future, I think that should be okay. I'm okay winning 4-3, 4-2, as long as we outscore. And I think that will happen. As the more we play under Freddie, the more I feel we'll be able to transition easier and pass the ball better. And you could see that. Like there were stats that he brought out in his press conference as well, saying that we had the most players running behind their backline and finding pockets of spaces where we hadn't done that before, right? So it will take some time, but yeah, positive signs.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just I'll come on the managers' prospective guys in a bit, but um, there were signs, definite signs of improvement in the first half. At least we succumbed to the same errors leading up to goals. And I think that'll take some time, but it surprises me that if Freddie can get them to play that that sort of football in just under 48 hours, um, it seems to me that the instructions are there to be followed. They just weren't being done under Emery. Um, I remember when he first came on, when Emery first came on last season, he would just make these changes that were hailed as tactical masterpieces, and he would get applauded for it. But just then, repeatedly making those changes, maybe he was correcting some mistakes that were at the time seen as just as great tactical moves. Um, I still think we're a way off. We're some way off deciding our playing 11. The faster that happens, the better. In terms of where we head next, I don't know. I'm not. I mean, what I see is that I can't think of a name who I'd like to come as the next coach. How long to give Freddie is anybody's guess. Um, I'd like to see someone more established, someone who's been at a manager club and is preferably younger as well. I don't know if the likes of Allegri will come. I don't know if the likes of Pochettino will come. Irrespective of what salaries they command, I don't think um, I trust this board enough to tell us what's actually happening. We didn't in the summer. We didn't think we could get Pepe. We still got him. So I don't think money is a problem. I think the money is there. I I don't. I think I've sort of. I think me and a lot of the Arsenal fans have sort of lost the trust of um so Don Raul, as whatever you want to call him. I don't think he will make the right decision. Whoever comes in, I hope it is. Um, I hope it's a well thought out decision and not someone just because he can open up his contact books and just find someone either via Mendez or the other agents that he knows. I hope it's someone who's well thought out, who is comes in with the philosophies of what the club represents, and hopefully it's happened soon. Um, but when that happens, let's see. Right now, I just think the focus should be on Brighton, and Freddie said that he was anyways for him, if it works out and long term, great. If it doesn't, he's anyways happy what he's doing. So yeah, I think just we haven't won a game in 2 months, and I think that is more important than when the manager thing has to happen, it'll happen. But I think us winning tomorrow night is imperative.
Two things I want to talk to you about. I think what you brought up about is that we haven't won in 2 months is absolutely appalling and shocking, considering that we haven't had. It's not like we went through a run of Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham, United, Liverpool back to back, right? Like I can understand us losing to them. We had a pretty easy run on paper that we should have been able to pick up wins. But okay, anyway, that's gone now. We can only beat now what's in front of us. And like I said, what Freddie did was better than what we've done before. But there were some few strange things. Like obviously his lineup was crazy. His substitutions were crazy. I mean, you have Pepe sitting on the bench and not being brought on. He brought on Saka before Martinelli when I felt that he should have probably brought Martinelli on a little sooner because Martinelli's been, his confidence is high. He's been scoring goals. He's been doing well. So I felt that he could have probably got Martinelli on over there a little earlier instead of bringing Saka on. And yeah, there was some strange substitutions. I mean, he you can talk about how he wants to play like the way that Arsenal set up Arsenal to play, and even the sort of substitution that he made, he waited for the 70th minute to make that substitution. I mean, we're so used to in the last 18 months, Emery making those quick substitutions maybe at halftime or the 52nd minute or something like that. But waiting till the 70th minute for the substitution, I felt was a little too late. We should have pressed and gone for that third goal. I mean, we tried it, but yeah, I don't want to give him any slack. I'm happy. We were all calling for Emery out. We've got it. We've got a new manager. Doesn't matter whether it's somebody who has no experience, but it's a new face. Let's hope the players listen to him. Let's hope that he can build a rapport. Let's hope that he can communicate to the players, which was because we were hearing all these noises about how Emery was not able to communicate with the players, which is why it was causing everybody to uh, probably not understand what he was trying to say or getting confused with what he had to say. So let's hope that it all works out for us. Let's also hope that it doesn't work out in the way that it worked out with United, where Solskjaer came, won his first 8-10 games, showed them that okay, this is how United should be playing, and then suddenly tanking next year. I hope it's not that case with him. And yeah, just looking forward to watching the Arsenal again because I'm excited because under Emery it was a drab. You and me have discussed this before, saying that we don't look forward to watching games anymore because we play that boring football. We don't pass it well enough, things like that. But that first half, and to be honest, I caught I was flying back from my holiday, and luckily enough, there was live sports available on the plane, and I managed to catch the game on the flight. So whatever I saw of that first half or the first 60 minutes that I watched, I was impressed with what we did. Keeping the defense aside, it's the best attacking football or the best combination plays that we've seen from this Arsenal side in over 5-6 months easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's still, like I said, those early green shoots are there for development. Um, it'll take a little while, and hopefully he's given that time. Hopefully we find someone quick. But I just want to come to your point on the subs. I think he was a little bit cautious, knowing that Norwich have had big scalps in the season. So there's a part of me that understands. So subs, look, Pepe not being picked is something Emery wasn't doing either. Maybe there's something happening with him behind the scenes that we're not aware of. Maybe he's struggling for confidence, struggling for match fitness, whatever it is. Um, the Saka thing also I understand because Saka's like Ljungberg's been his coach right throughout the youth ranks, so I understand that as well. Um, and you're right, maybe he could have brought Martinelli on much earlier, but I think I'm not going to give judge too much from one game. I think he'll take a little while. I think he's now that he's had about more training sessions with the team. Um, I think we'll see a much more attacking lineup tomorrow. I hope he plays Martinelli and Pepe tomorrow because we need to go for the win. Um, Having said that, I think some of the players I think have been coasting along. I think the prime example of that would probably be Lacazette. Um, I mean, you can angle. Maybe he's angling for a new contract. Maybe he's not happy with whatever. But he's been terrible ever since he's come back. And I
I'm
don't think he
sorry,
should be
I'm just
starting
going to
tomorrow.
interrupt you. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. I think our best formation is playing Aubameyang through the middle and having two wingers who can support him, because playing your best centre forward out on the left where he's not, I mean, okay, he scored 2 goals for us, but he doesn't really get involved in the game as much as you want him to when he's out on the left or the right. And I think, see, that pipe dream of having Lacazette and Aubameyang up front is just not working. We need to. I remember when we signed. I know it was only about 5 months that Wenger had with Aubameyang and Lacazette. But if you remember it very clearly, there, even then he played Aubameyang in the team, and he played Lacazette. He got Lacazette off the bench, which was what Emery was doing when he was so successful at the start of the season. Right, as soon as he shifted out, and it's true, like all the fans got on his back saying that why is he not playing the two together, and he should be playing these two together and things like that, and he tried that. And I think when you play the two together, you don't have balance in the team, and that's something we need to really address. And I think Ljungberg needs to go back to a 4-3-3 where he plays Aubameyang in the center and he plays two natural wingers, either Saka or Martinelli on one side and Pepe the other side, or he needs to do something like that, because with the two of them right now, we have no balance at the top. So one of them needs to be dropped.
No, you're right. I think that there is I mean, irrespective of what formation he plays in, I think Lacazette shouldn't start tomorrow. Anyways, he's just been off form, and I agree with you there. There needs to be he needs to play Auba as his main striker. He's back scoring again for us. Um, so I think that there's definitely a need there to play the players that he has available. Um, I'm not. I don't know what the lineup will be, but I hope I hope at least Pepe plays just so he's at home. The feel good factor will be there with um, with Lundberg in the dugout at home. I think the stadium will also be much more fuller than it was in the midweek game against Frankfurt. So yeah, I think it's looking up. I think I was just following some of the bloggers and some of the people who keep visiting the stadium. There was definitely a positive vibe going around after Lundberg came in. Cautious optimism, I think I want to call it. Um, let's see how it goes. I think tomorrow's game will go a long way, and we need to win the next few games before the likes of the cities and the Chelseas and the United start happening. So we need to start picking up points, and the sooner that happens, the better.
So quickly then, uh, two things: who do you want as your next manager? And another thing is, do you think the board are going to sack Ljungberg? Not sack, but replace Ljungberg now or give him till the end of the season? What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, I'll answer your second question first. I they will not. I don't think they'll give him till the end of the season. If things go really well, I don't think they want to do. They've seen the likes of United having that initial uplift and then sort of fading away, and they're still fading with their ninth, I think, currently. Um, that initial enthusiasm will wear out very quickly, and then just I think the fans at United still respect Solskjaer just for what he did, and maybe they're not going to turn on him as quickly. Maybe they just might. I don't know. But I don't think the board will give him till the end of the season. I think they will find someone who's a permanent replacement. Um, and you did mention right at the start that they don't have the money. I refuse to believe that. I don't think the money is the issue. I think they want to make the right appointment, or rather, I would like to hope they would want to make the right appointment. I don't know if they will. Um, their shortlist being thrown around with names. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see. I'd like to see someone, whoever that name is. I think for me the philosophy of what Arsenal is, and what it represents, I think should come out more than who the name is. Um, Arteta was a strong contender last time around. I don't know. I mean, while I'm okay with him having been being Pep's right hand man, and having been former Arsenal captain and someone who has a lot of respect at the club, my just concern with Arteta is the fact that he hasn't coached a club at all. He's not been a manager anywhere. So um, I get it that maybe he has Arsenal DNA and maybe he'll play that football, but that's all conjecture. You're not basing it on anything. So while it may be a gamble, maybe it might just be right gamble. Maybe he'll bring to the table what Pep brought to Barcelona was when he got the job. But again, Pep was again managing the youth team there. So I would like to think someone should come in who represents that philosophy. Um, I mean, there's Nagelsmann in Germany who's been doing great. Um, Pochettino, just and I mean, I get it that doesn't have silverware, but he's built that Spurs team into from also rans to Champions League finals. So he knows how to build the team. He knows how to get the most out of a squad, and they play good foot. I mean, as much as we hate to get it, I hate to say it, Spurs play some really good football, um, against both the bigger teams and the smaller teams. So he can get them playing good football, not just counter attacking stuff, but like serious stuff. Like Spurs, a couple of seasons back, they were right there to, they were competing at one point in time for the league. I mean, early days, but they were there. They were still being touted, and I think they finished third that season. So the point right now is to get someone who can, one, get us back in the Champions League, and second, build from there into a much more cohesive attacking unit. I don't know. I'm at a loss right now. I don't think I've narrowed down a name as such, because I don't know anyone who would fill in our who'd fill in who'd fill in or tick the right boxes for someone at Arsenal. So I can only speculate. I'd like to see Pochettino. Maybe Arteta might do well. An Nagelsmann might do well. I mean, whoever it is, it's gonna be. I think we'll just go to the same merry-go-round, anyways. Now, so
Okay, so I've been reading a lot of rumors about how everybody wants Arteta for some reason, and I think you're right. The point that you bring up about Arteta is that he hasn't coached. So what is the difference between Ljungberg and Arteta for me? There's nothing. There's no difference because they both. If you have to go to Arteta, you rather keep Ljungberg as manager because they're both raw, they're both inexperienced, and they're both going to try taking. There's no. I mean, there's no. I mean, there's no thing that they're going to get Arsenal back to where we're supposed to be, right? Another thing
I
with
mean, just so sorry, Ashwin. I mean,
yeah.
just another point I could say is that why not get in someone like an Eddie Howe, who's been at Bournemouth, plays a great style of football, has coached at a Premier League club, and who, at least if nothing else, is has the experience of, maybe the club might be a big deal, like too big of a deal for him, but that step up needs to happen. And if not now, then I don't see why not give him a chance if you're considering the likes of an Arteta or a Lundberg for that matter.
I'm going to give you two names instead of Eddie Howe. Why don't you go and get Brendan Rodgers? Okay, I know he bottled the league with Liverpool, but maybe he came to Liverpool at a time when it was too early for him in his career. He went to Scotland. He won the league there with Celtic. Okay, I know it's a two-team league over there, but I think as a manager he's grown, and you can see what he's done, how he's turned things around with the Leicester team. I know it makes absolutely no sense for him to right now leave Leicester and come to Arsenal. But at the end of the day, you have to remember this: Leicester might be the better team, but Arsenal are the bigger team, right? So Maybe he won't do it this season because Leicester could potentially be challenging for the league. They're 8 points behind Liverpool. But if we wait out till the end of the season, I think Brendan Rodgers should be considered because he presently is one of those coaches who's fantastic, right? He can blend in youth. He plays attacking football. He plays. He knows he sets up his team very well. His defense is set well, and he's Premier League proven, right? So you know what he can do, what he can bring. He won't be a risk, right? That's one name. Another name that I can throw to you. I don't know how favorable he will probably be to the Arsenal is Rafa Benitez. I think there's about 1 month or 2 months to go for the Chinese league to get over, and maybe they could wait it out and get Benitez. Okay, again, don't know how he probably change Arsenal or how much of a guarantee it is that he will probably bring us to where it is. But at least he's done it before. He's managed Chelsea, he's managed Newcastle, he's managed Liverpool. He's got the experience. So that's another name that we should probably be looking at. I don't think it'd be that expensive. Also, both of them won't be that expensive. So I think these are two names that we should consider. I like Eddie Howe, but the only problem again with Eddie Howe is that he's proved it at a smaller team. I don't know how, like, you know how they say star players will respond to taking instructions from a nobody manager. I'm not saying he's a nobody manager, but you never know if things get sour. Uh, would like an Ozil or an Aubameyang or a Lacazette listen to what the manager is saying? It can be the same situation where I don't know how true this is, but people talking about how Pogba doesn't listen to. I mean, he didn't listen to Jose Mourinho, so Solskjaer has really no hope. But yeah, it shouldn't turn out to be in this day and age where player power is so big and the manager really has no power at all, like how it used to be before under the likes of Wenger and Fergie and things like that. It just becomes really hard. So you need somebody who has that reputation. Another news is today that I was reading somewhere that Napoli have sacked Carlo Ancelotti. I know Ancelotti won't be there for the long term. He'll probably be like a short term fix. He'll probably be there for maybe 1 or 2 seasons. But if you can stable the ship for 1 or 2 seasons, and then maybe if you can groom someone like an Arteta or a Ljungberg or a Vieira to come and take that role, or even a I can't pronounce his name.
Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann, yes, thank you. If you can get one of them later to take Arsenal to where they're supposed to be, that'd be great. But again, it comes down to whether we can afford Ancelotti, whether we have enough money in January for him to buy the certain type of players that he likes to play with. And again, I've not seen Ancelotti promoting too much of the youth. So whether he fits into the philosophy that the board is probably wanting to play with. So
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think I was just coming to that he's never been, even his during in his Milan days, he was never someone who promoted youth. So that would be something that would be an issue. Also, I think Ancelotti would then be a short-term fix, not someone you want to give a long contract. I'll throw a name out there for you, as someone who's been a little under the radar but done really well. Big name players, a big name manager who's always touted as someone that some of the modern fans have learned from is Bielsa at Leeds. Um, he's done he's done exceedingly well for Leeds. They were almost promoted last year. Um, they're doing again. They're doing great for where they are currently as well. Um, Bielsa might be a candidate. I mean, he's got a reputation as being someone who's a hard taskmaster and someone who needs to identify with the city that he's at and with the club that he's at. Um, so it might I don't know if it is possible at all, but I think we need someone like that, someone who pushes players and then gets results. I think we need to move out of this whole um, he needs to be a coach needs to be a father figure, needs to be a friend, all that. I think we're done with that. Rodgers seems like someone like that who is very into his players and understands what they're about and all of that, like what Arsene used to do. Um, but that's a name that I think I don't know if it's being considered, but that'd be like an out of left field name who I think should I mean, I'd like to see what he could do. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd like to see what he could do with us.
Well, you could see it firsthand in a couple of weeks when we play Leeds in the FA Cup when they come to the Emirates, and
Maybe
probably.
you're right. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a great shout out also to another manager. But again, I don't know if it's going to be a long term fix for us. I think it'll be more short term, and which I could probably do with if you could get somebody in to steady the ship. And another thing that you have to, another name that you mentioned, which is Pochettino. What we have to be really careful about is that United have City tonight, and they have Chelsea on the weekend. No, they have Spurs tonight. Sorry, and they have Man City on the weekend, right? If they lose those two games, they go 16th in the league. So, which could then mean that the board sacks Solskjaer, which makes Pochettino very much available. So if Arsenal are looking at Pochettino, which there were rumors about that in Onstein's podcast that he mentioned that last year they looked at him, even though he was obviously contracted at Spurs, they might revisit it, but they might have to do it fast because United are going to be sniffing and they need a manager because I've been watching a lot of United fan channels and it gives me great pleasure to see when a team like United loses. But yeah, all the players I don't think there is anybody left who's still supporting Solskjaer. They're all Solskjaer out right now. It's only because Solskjaer is a club legend is why he's still at the club and why he's still surviving. But yeah, I think that if we need to move, we need to make these moves fast because United are going to be in for all these managers as well.
Didn't Ed Woodward come out and say that he's here for the long term and they're giving him a chance and all of that?
Yeah, I think Edward Wood is just saying that because
Um,
his job is on the line. Since Fergie, he's sacked about eight
I
managers
guess.
or six
Yeah, I
managers,
guess.
right?
Yeah, you're probably right.
And at some point, if the managers are being sacked, it's probably they have to look at the guy who's appointing the managers, right? So at some point, I mean, everybody's already Woodward out. All the fans are, but he's not going to go and quit. Why would he want to leave a cushy job? Why would he want to leave a job where he's getting paid a lot and where he's in control of the whole club? No one would do that. I mean, if it was you and me, none of us would want to quit, right? Till the time somebody from the top sacks us, I don't think anybody would want to do that. So I think till the time Woodward is still at that club is still going to suffer. That club is still going to go down. But yeah, as much as we have sucked this season, it's United sucking more has been some sort of consolation for me.
No, I don't think us ever not doing well is um or us not doing well and someone else doing worse is ever sort of some sort of consolation. Um, I don't know. I hope whatever. Again, and I've reiterated this over and over again. Whatever decision the club needs to make when Emery was here, it needs to happen quickly. It didn't. I hope I'm wrong when I say that the whatever whoever they choose to appoint next um, isn't quick but well thought out. So I mean, I understand that maybe United are waiting for the next two games to see if they can get Pochettino. I hope we're on that. I hope we've thought about it that at least. It would be stupid not to have someone of that pedigree, um, not not to have even thought of approaching him. I hope we have, but let's see how. I guess we'll come to know by Tuesday morning if Solskjaer has been asked to leave and if Pochettino is coming in, or by end of next week, I guess we'll have a clear picture of what happens there. What happens there will just fasten the process for us, and we're not that proactive in anything. It just seems like as of this point. So I think one of our targets will get hired somewhere else, and then we'll rush through and make an appointment that we should not have. Like the one Mourinho. Apparently, Mourinho was targeted, and then someone at the board didn't want him there. Then he joined Spurs, but he was discussed. So the rumors of him sitting at the stadium wasn't not being guided by Raul. I think did carry some weight. Um, so let's see. I'm not very hopeful of us appointing the right person again, and I think we might just miss out like we missed out with Pep a few years ago. when he
And
wanted
Jurgen
to
Klopp.
come, and Klopp, when they were approached, or when Arsenal was still around. Anyhow, that's where I am at with my adjusting. I'm pretty open minded right now. If it means sticking with Freddie and seeing how things goes, so be it. If not, and they get someone else who is a disaster waiting to happen, then so be it.
I wouldn't actually mind giving Freddie till the end of the season because the season's a write-off anyway. We're not going to win the league. We're not challenging for top four. I think the faster you and me can come to terms with us not making top four and not having expectations of that, the better it is. I don't think we'll win the Europa League. Uh, I don't think United will either, but I think some team from the Champions League will drop down and probably win that. We probably reach the semis, and from there, I don't know what's going to happen. But I don't mind giving Freddie till the end of the season, hoping that maybe we can make a calmer decision in the summer. We don't have to rush into it, like you said. It shouldn't be that we hire an Emery 2.0 because we don't want to be going through that again next year. We don't want to be calling for that manager out. So we rather do it nicely. We rather do it with like a well thought process. And yeah, that's me on the managers as well. So I mean, let's get into tomorrow night's game. New kickoff times. It's a 8:15 game, which makes it a 1:45 game for us in the night for us. Makes that leaves us at like the game will end at probably 4 o'clock in the morning. So they're just making it harder and harder for us to watch it. But as you know, both
Yeah.
of us we're going to still watch it because we love the club. We're going to stay up. We're going to do that, and we're going to go to work. But just before I get there, let me just talk to you about what do you think the lineups are going to be, and like maybe you can give me a score prediction, and let's see how that turns out.
I don't know what the lineups will be. Honestly, I think I think it'll take a little while for me to get used to what he's thinking, and how the games play out. I hope he starts with at least Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Pepe. The others, I think, I think pretty much every place is up for grabs. With the new guy. Um, Score prediction. I think we'll win tomorrow. Hopefully. I'd say I'd give us 3-1. I think is what I'll go with.
I mean, I'm for a change. I'm also being positive. I think we probably it might. I see the situation happening. I think Brighton will come and they'll probably sit back like every team at the Emirates. We probably struggle maybe for the first half an hour or so, but I think once we get one goal, whether that's a set piece or a penalty or something like that, I think the floodgates will then open because Brighton will probably come and try attacking us, and then we probably get about three goals or so. I think even I'm going for maybe like a 2-1 or a 3-1 as well. But yeah, you're right. I think I don't know if Freddie will want to drop Lacazette. I don't know if he wants to ruffle the feathers already by dropping a big name and seeing what happens because it shouldn't be like when Emery tried to drop Ozil and make a statement that he's also going to probably drop Lacazette and do that. I want him to, like we were mentioning, I want him to play a 4-3-3 and play Aubameyang in the center because I feel he's way more effective there than on the left. But at the same time, I don't know if he wants to unsettle the big names and he wants to take a chance by doing something like that. I think you're right. He's one of he is like he's very much like Arsene Wenger and Brendan Rodgers, where he'll want to befriend the players and make them feel comfortable. Uh, since we're playing at home, I'm actually okay with that. Playing with two strikers and Ozil behind. I'm excited to watch free flowing football. I'm excited that I'm looking forward to Arsenal playing again. And it's not that, oh my God, Arsenal's playing again. I'm excited. There's no Unai Emery on the touchline. So positive signs. I'm also predicting a 3-1. I hope it's right. I hope we do better and we can take it from there.
I mean, if all it took for us to start playing better and Emery getting sacked was you taking a vacation, maybe you should take a couple more vacations. I think every few weeks, Ashwin.
I wouldn't actually mind that. So Arsenal's put me through too much of heartbreak for the last 18 months.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Anyways, guys, that's been our show. Hopefully, we should get back to winning ways tomorrow night. 2 months, no wins. Long overdue. And yeah, hopefully more, this is hopefully a more positive, uplifting podcast for you guys, and we'll be back after the game tomorrow. So I think you should expect one over the weekend. And yeah, thanks, Ashwin. It's been good catching up,
Thanks, Samridh.
and we'll speak to you guys soon. Our socials are on your screen. Click the bell icon to be reminded. We're on Twitter at the Arsenal Away. We've got a Facebook page as well with the same name. And we have talk to you guys in the next one.
You guys, thank you.